Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Today I'm going to show you how to set a blackout time for your database. If you got a multi-user database set up where they're logging on different times throughout the day, right? But you want to have it so that, okay, every day at 9 p.m., I want to make sure everybody's out of the database because from 9 to 9:30, we do maintenance. So if they're logged in, it'll kick them out. And if they're not logged in but try to log in, it'll say, nope, the database is in blackout time. Go away, come back later. Okay? Okay. Today's question comes from my friend Sami from Windsor Locks, Connecticut. He's one of the moderators on my website. This is a follow-up to a previous video I did called Force Shutdown, where you can set a time and date that you say, okay, I'm planning maintenance, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, so anyone that's in the database will get kicked out at that time. Sami says, I would love for you to show how to do a blackout period where we only store time without a date portion. This way, every day, between the two times specified, the system will kick users out and also prevent them from logging on. Very good. This is also handy if you have like a nightly backup. Your backup runs at 10 o'clock. You want to make sure that everybody's out of the database at 9:45, right? If you have not yet watched my Force Shutdown videos, go watch these first. This is a 3-part series. You'll find it on my website and on my YouTube channel. You'll find links to it down below. If you are a gold member, go to the Force Shutdown 3-part 3 page and grab the database right here if you want to work off of my copy. And if you're not a gold member, well, you just have to build the database along with me following with the videos. So there you go. All right, so here's the database that we built in the Force Shutdown series. Now in that database, I split it so that we have a front end and back end. I'm going to get rid of front end 2 and 3. These are just copies. We use these to simulate having multiple users in the database. And just as a refresher, let me open up the front end here. And this guy's got a timer event where it checks for a shutdown. It looks in the server table. Remember this? We've got a shutdown date and time. Now this was set way back in January when I originally recorded it. It's currently May 3rd of 2024. So it's going to watch for this to happen. And if this date happens after the time that the user logged in, it's going to log them out. But the problem is what if they just turn right around and try to log back in? All right, that's what Sami's trying to get at. He wants everybody out of the database between two times. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is add 2 fields to our server table to indicate the blackout start time and the blackout end time. So let's go back to our backend file. Let's edit this guy, backend. And we'll go into our server table, design view. We're going to add in here blackout start time. I was going to put in here BO start time, but no. And this will be a date time value. Remember, a date time value can store a date or a time or both together. Okay? Then we'll have a blackout end time. Okay? Save that. Let's put some start values in here. All right, it's currently 6:39 p.m. as I'm recording this. So I'm going to put in here, let's put in here 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I know it's a big wide. You'll have in there whatever your backup window is, right? The 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. or whatever. But for class today, to make sure that this is working, we're going to go with those 2 times. Okay. Let's close this. Save changes, sure. We'll go back over to our front end. And always remember when you're working between a front end and a back end, if you're going to make changes to the tables, shut down the front end first. Because if you don't, this guy caches what's in here when it opens. All right, so these fields might not show up until you close this front end and then reopen it again. Okay, so now let's go into our code that handles shutting things down. Let's go into our code window behind the main menu here. All right, where is it at? There's our form timer event. This is where all the magic happens right in here. All right, this guy is basically every whatever seconds you have it programmed to, whatever the timer interval is checking to see if we're past the startup time. Okay? What we're going to do is something in addition to, or you can even replace this if you want to, but we'll do it in addition to this. So I'm going to create a new subroutine, and I'm going to call it check for blackout. So let's come down here in the bottom. Private sub check for blackout. All right, I'm going to look up that blackout start time and end time from the table. I like to store those in local variables. It just works better, trust me. So here we'll go dim. Oh, here we'll do it. BO start as a date. I would say that was sometimes around the age of 13 for me. No. And then BO end as another date. Okay, status, checking for blackout. This is just for you. You don't have to put that in there if you don't want your users to see it, right? And now a couple of DLOOKUPs. BO start equals DLOOKUP blackout start time from the server T. And then we'll look up the blackout end time as well. BO end equals the end time. Now, normally if these were values that the user could mess with, I would put an NZ around there to handle null values. But this is an admin only table, so you're responsible to make sure there's a value in there. Even if you don't want to have a blackout time, just have it so, you know, start time's 5 o'clock, end time's 5 o'clock. Or even have it so that the end time is less than the start time. Well, no, actually that'll probably keep you out the whole time. So now that I'm thinking about it, though, the way that this is working and the way that I have it coded, your blackout time cannot span midnight. All right, so let's keep that in mind. That's a limitation. You're going to see why in just a second here. So if BO start is less than, you can do less than or equal to, it's up to you, now, right, the current time now, and BO end is greater than or equal to now, then it's time to do some blackout, right? So status, blackout time, and then however you want to handle it here, I'll just open up the shutdown form. So do command dot open form shutdown. Shutdown F. That's the same thing we did in the last class, end if. Now, one problem you have here though, this is a time like 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. or 1 a.m. or whatever. This now is a complete date time value with a date on it. Okay? So you can't just use now here. What we're going to use is the time value of now. That's going to look at the now. It's going to look at the date time of right now and just give you the time. It ignores the date. There's also a function called date value. All right, I think I got separate videos on both of these. Yes, I do. I got a separate time value and date value videos. I'll put links to these down below. All right, so we need the time value of now here and the time value of now on this side. What this is saying is our start time and our end time, right? We got BO start, BO end. If the start time is less than whatever the now value is, so if BO start is 5 p.m., right? And if right now it's 5:05 p.m., and the end time, let's say, is 6 p.m., and this is still 5:05, then we're going to do blackout. That means you can't open the database. So if it's 9 p.m., then it doesn't fall within those ranges, and you're good. And once again, just keep in mind, with this coding the way it is right now, your blackout time cannot cross over midnight, okay? Because if your start time was 11 p.m. and your end time was 1 a.m., then midnight would not work because it wouldn't fall in there, right? The time value of midnight would not be, it would be less than BO start, so it's not going to work. All right, so that's just one little limitation. Could you code something else to get around that? Yeah, I'm sure you could. We get a little more complicated, but I think this will work for most people. I think most people, if you want like an hour for backups or whatever, usually people do that at like 3 a.m. Or if you're doing a maintenance window, usually it's going to be, you know, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Anybody's up at midnight doing database maintenance? I've been there. No, I can't lie. I've been that guy having to do database maintenance at midnight. So it's not fun. What you would do in that case is just have a situation where you'd look at the values and you'd say, okay, if the end time is less than the start time, then you just reverse that and you look at the other way. So it's more complicated. If you guys really, really, really want to see me write out all the code for that, let me know. I'll put something together. But I think this will work for 99% of the people. Okay? Now, you could also make a separate shutdown form too, because our shutdown form, what it is right now, if you look at it, it just says the database will shut down in 1 minute. You might not want to even have them in the database for a minute. You might want to even have them, you know, it shuts down in 5 seconds. Just enough for them to see the message. Like, nope, we're in blackout time, bye. Right? Because that could, if the database is open, it could mess up your backup. So you could make a second shutdown form, or you could send the text of this to the shutdown form and even change the timer parameters. In fact, we're going to do that in the extended cut. All right, we're going to add some embellishments to this. Okay, but for now, we can just use a different startup form or shutdown form, whatever you want to do. I'm easy. Okay, so are we ready to test it? Let's see here. We got to check for the blackout, right? We wrote our code to handle this. Now, where are we going to put this? We got to call it from somewhere, right? I'm going to call it from the form timer event. So every time the form timer runs, at whatever interval you got this set to, once a minute or once every 10 minutes or whatever. All right. So all you have to do now is say check for blackout, and it will handle everything else. We can put that right there. And I'm also going to put it in the form load event. So when the database first loads up, assuming, of course, we're in your main menu, and your main menu is your startup form, or at least loads when the database loads, right? So we'll check for blackout there as well. And yes, one more note, I do recommend that you delookup these each time this runs, even though it take a millisecond, right? You could load them up once when the database starts, but this allows you, the server manager, the admin, to change this on the fly. You know, if it's 7 o'clock and you're like, oh crap, I got a bug I got to fix and it's critical, boot everybody out right now, you can just go in here and just change this on the fly. And this way, every time this loads, it will check this. Okay, so I would not cache these values. All right, so let's test it. Save this. I'm going to, let me see, what have I got my timer interval set to here? Event. All right, this is 10 seconds. Again, you'd make this something like a minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I'm going to make it 5 seconds just for the purposes of class, so we don't have to sit here and wait for it. And then what's going to happen is that's going to open up the shutdown form, which is also set to 10 seconds. I'll leave that at 5 seconds as well, so that's relatively quick. Oh, one other thing I do want to do is I'm going to change the shutdown form to a pop-up form. Now, usually I don't like pop-up forms, because especially with a multi-monitor setup, they can appear anywhere, but at least this will prevent them from appearing behind an existing form. If the user is working in here, it could even appear behind the main menu and they won't see it. So at least with pop-up, it's going to appear on the screen somewhere. It should be here. I've got a whole separate video on how to control where pop-ups pop up using code. It's my move size video. Go watch this. You can control where the pop-up window appears. But I was playing with this guy earlier, and it was like appearing behind the main menu. I'm like, where is it? It's not showing up. Another thing you might want to do is make it bigger too, so it, you know, so it comes in nice and large, bigger than everything else, right? Okay. Anyways, let's give it a test. We should be ready to test it now. Now my times are set to 6 and 8, and it's currently 6:52 p.m. So we should be in blackout time. Let's simulate the database opening by me opening up the main menu. Now remember, I have code that I put in here, right, that doesn't shut the database down if it's me, if it's my username and my computer logon. It's Spock. Okay, so it won't actually shut down. But actually, you know what I'm going to do real quick? I was thinking about this earlier. I'm going to take this, because I call it in a couple of different places. I'm going to make a global function for this. So I'm going to go by global mod real quick. We're going to say public, so everybody can call it sub do shutdown. We're going to put that code in there. So if it's me, it will just display a message, and if it's everybody else, it'll quit. All right. I can't use status box here because status box is on the main menu, but I can say forms main menu F status box equals, right, admin mode, the database will shut down here. Just so that I know it's working, but as a developer, I don't want to have to deal with testing my code and then the database closing every time. So I just want to see that menu, but for a normal user, that won't happen. Okay? Now I'm just going to replace everywhere this code appears with do shutdown. So I'm going to go back over here and say do shutdown. And where else does it happen? Let's see here. That happens just here if they close the main menu, and it also happens in the shutdown form. It happens, let's see, form timer. Okay, when the timer hits, it's going to do shutdown. And if they close this form, it's going to do shutdown. Right? Because this guy's got a timer. When this timer runs out, the database closes. Or if they close this manually, that'll happen. All right, so I've covered all the bases. Ready to test it, finally this time. You ready? All right, we're going to simulate the database opening by opening up the main menu. Ready? Go. And boom, immediately. This database will shut down in 1 minute. Now that's just the standard message. Okay? And you can see in the background here, look, admin mode, the database will shut down here. So it would have quit if it was a normal user. Okay? Let me see, this is one of the other things. You got to close these down fast as the admin. If you're not an admin, it will shut the database down. All right? Let me go into do shutdown and I'll prove it. Here, watch. We'll just rem out this stuff. Okay, so when it does do shutdown, it's going to quit immediately. All right, ready? Go. And then database will shut down in 5 seconds, really. So wait 5 seconds, and there we go. Everybody shut down. See? If I try to open it back up again, nope, sorry, shutting down 5 seconds. You can make that 1 second. You know, just put blackout real big. Now we want to end it. We just go in as admin, right? And of course, we're admin, so it won't just shut the database on us. But I'll open up the back end and I'll just change the blackout time. So let's say 6 o'clock. Okay, it's currently 6:57, so I'll change this to 6:30. So we're past our blackout window. All right, and now if I open the database, come on. Man, these newer versions of Access got slower. And we're good. See, it says checking for blackout, but we're not in a blackout time. Okay. And there's the regular check for shutdown. The old check for shutdown runs at the end of this timer's cycle, whereas checking for blackout happens when we start the database. All right, in the extended cut for the members, we're going to do two more things. We're going to specify that shutdown message and the timer interval for the shutdown form. So you can either say, you know, the database is going to shut down for maintenance in 1 minute and give them a minute. Or you can say the database is currently in blackout, you can't log on, and it's going to shut down in 3 seconds. Or whatever you want the message to say and the timer interval. And using the same technique, you could control the color and the size and whatever you want of that form. Okay? And we're going to go one step further. I know that from experience, not everybody runs a maintenance routine every day. You might only do maintenance and backups twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays or whatever. So we're going to specify which days of the week the blackout time is valid. And if you want it every day, fine, just put every day in there. But you can do just Sundays at 3 a.m. Okay? That's all going to be covered in the extended cut for the members. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut videos. Gold members can download these databases that I build in the Tech Help videos. And you've seen how valuable that is, right? Because the gold members are just going to go and get the other database that I built in the last series, right? So what are you waiting for? You want to join right now? Click that join button. And if you like learning with me, I've got tons of developer lessons and seminars and templates and all kinds of stuff on my website. Check them out. There's a link right there. But that is going to be your Tech Help video for today. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free Tech Help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my Tech Help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the Tech Help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: silver, gold, platinum, and diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any tech help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for tech help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.